Hey, this is Russell, and I work at the video store, the place that you can go to every week when it's movie night. On days like today, we have our interesting customers pop in to rent something. We talk about the exciting things that they have going on in their lives, and we're always keen to hear what films that they've loved across their life. All right, let's do it. Let's open up the shop.
Did you see that thing yesterday on the TV? It was ready, interesting!
How's it? Welcome to the video store. Thank you for popping in. My name is Russell, and it's just me behind the counter today. Today is a very special episode. We have the band St Lucia popping in to say hi and to rent something. This is something that is dear to my heart. They're a band that I've always loved and appreciated over the years. So having them come in to rent something and for us to have a fat chat is a real treat. For all those joining us for the first time that have perhaps come through St Lucia, welcome. Once a week, we get behind the counter here and we talk about all the exciting news and developments in the world of film and entertainment. And we talk about the films and the series that we're loving. And we hope that we'll give you an interesting conversation with St. Lucia. We obviously flavor it through the films that they've loved across their life. So we hope to give you guys something different and something unique here. And then we also hope that you'll join us again next week when we have more of these kinds of chats and talk amongst ourselves about film and the TV shows that we love. We geek out. All right. For all of those who join every week, St. Lucia is a really exciting band and music that I think everyone will love. And we really hope that you enjoy this interesting chat. All right, let's get into it. This is St. Lucia popping in to rent something. How's it?
It's good.
It is good, hey?
It is good, yeah.
It's so lovely to meet you guys properly or see you again. I'm not expecting you to remember the last time we met. But with the band Short Straw, we were very pumped, very excited, and very happy to share the stage with you.
In Cape Town.
And it was a long time ago.
It was like 12 years ago or something?
I can't.
Oh my God.
No,
I can't remember.
No,
it's insane.
Dustin remembered, and it was 2014.
Okay, wild.
It
was very cool. It was us and El Bear, who were a very cool indie band that we shared the stage with many times. And I took great joy in getting it was an interesting architecture of a space. It was like a long passage, if you remember.
Yeah.
And
it was like the Casbah Club or something like that, right?
Something like that.
It was like kind
club.
of Moroccan vibes.
Yes, it used to be called the Fez in its
Fez,
early days. So
Right.
it had this kind of Moroccan, almost what's it called? Cabaret.
Yeah, it was with the red curtains and stuff.
But
Was there red curtains? I don't know.
I remember two things about that night. I remember JP. What do you prefer, Jean? Jean. I remember you, like, leaving nothing. What is the expression? You gave it so much. I remember you literally, like, at one point collapsed on the stage. I don't know whether that's a common thing for you.
It's pretty
He does
common,
that.
yeah.
He does that.
Yeah.
Where it's like you gave everything. And I knew you had family and like people in the audience. And we're going to talk about your South African upbringing. But that was amazing to see. And also to be very close to the percussionist.
Oh, Nikki.
Who was a dude that was doing like multiple things with multiple hands.
Yeah.
He was like doing percussive shaking with the one hand and like keyboard with the left hand.
Yeah,
That's Nikki.
That's Nikki.
And
he plays keyboard, and then we make him hit some stuff.
And
much to his chagrin at times.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, like, this guy's special.
Yeah.
He's very special in many different ways.
I then watched you guys at The Great Escape when Short Straw played there. I went to both the acoustic show, which was like in a theater in the afternoon, and then there was a very cool nighttime show in what felt like
A cave.
a sort of a cavey basement.
The sweaty one.
It was very sweaty.
That was my
Right next to
favorite.
the beach, right?
that
That's like that kind of weird.
I think that
sweaty-
might have been my favorite show ever. The sweaty one.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I just like it when it gets sweaty.
It's
Yeah,
always
me
those
too.
those like dirty shows that are the best.
Yeah, like really tight, like in your face and sweaty, dripping. Much better than the big stages.
I agree.
Yeah.
And there's many a Short Straw show where we've met backstage, also all sweaty, and we go top five? Top
Yeah.
five? Everyone goes top five? Yeah. No.
No, we had a show last year. We played the opening of this hotel in Mallorca, and we were like, it was going to be like an acoustic show, and we were set up like outside by the pool, with the Mediterranean behind us. And just after sound check, the cops arrive and shut the whole thing down. They're just like, "Sorry, you don't have your entertainment license yet. You cannot do anything." Some like German neighbor complained, and we ended up basically moving everything inside into the dining room that had no air conditioning or anything ourselves, because the whole sound company was like, "We're done." They were all like union people. They would refuse to do any work, so we had to beg them, and we ended up playing this show inside where each of us was just like the sound system was essentially each person had just their own monitor that was for themselves and for the audience.
Oh.
And there was one towel to go between us and the audience, and it was top five shows.
Top five.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, then to speak of making plans because of things cancelling or going wrong, I was super excited to catch you guys at the Live Golf thing.
Oh, you were there?
Well,
On
I was.
Saturday, yeah.
Let me tell you where I was. I was there with an umbrella. I had brought my kind of sort of a family member. I'll tell you the whole story. But I dragged them up the hill because the family lives in Stain City. My wife's family. And they made such a big, lovely event out of this golf weekend. And I was the most excited about St Lucia. And so, much to my dismay, I saw the big screens that said, due to crazy weather events, we're cancelled.
It wasn't even that crazy weather.
It wasn't,
That's
right?
the thing.
I think Calvin
got
went
so
on.
mad. I got so mad. I mean, I was like, okay, it's drizzling a little bit, but they were like, yeah, but it's the lightning.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, like I've been here before where they told us not to go in the pool when it was sunshine. So it was like, okay, I get it. But then I was like, nothing's changed and Calvin's going on.
Yeah, so Kelvin Harris ended up going on.
Yeah. And it was raining more.
Okay. But then did you end up playing on Sunday?
On Sunday we played.
And like, that annoyed me because I had to go by that point.
Yeah.
And I was like,
So we missed each other.
and so we missed each other. But I was so excited to watch you guys.
It was
fun.
kind of a bummer, but it was sort of meant to be because we realized it was sort of meant to be because Sunday was my birthday. And there were a bunch of our friends that wouldn't have been able to make it on the Saturday that ended up being able to make it on the Sunday, including my niece. And
I'm so happy.
It kind of worked out for the best in a way. Although I feel like we would have had a lot more like fans in the audience if it was the
I know.
Saturday.
Yes, because you kind of planned.
Yeah.
And like, even the night before was Black Coffee.
I know.
And I felt that a lot of people in the crowds on Friday gave the energy of, I know nothing about golf, I'm here for Black Coffee.
Yeah.
Which is
Which
great.
is great.
Which is
so
great.
like, he exposed a whole bunch of people to golf.
We definitely had some very confused looking people in the audience on Sunday. Like straight up some people like
I don't get
just
this.
looking like having no idea, but then some really great energy too. So it was a balance.
So I'm really glad it worked out. There's no other performances while you're here, right?
We tried for 6 months to get something in Cape Town, get something else in Joburg, and it just like didn't work out. Like
Okay.
we tried everything.
Okay.
And, yeah.
But what this can be is a lovely homecoming and a chance to hang out with family, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Exactly.
Okay, so
100%.
who still lives here?
Jean's parents.
My parents, my sister, basically all my
Family.
my whole family. lives
Okay,
here.
because you grew up in Joburg.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you went to Drakensburg Boys Choir.
I sure did.
Now, is that primary school and high school?
Drakes is like from age 10 to 15, roughly. So in those days, it was standard. So it was like standard 3 to standard 7.
I still deal in standards.
Yeah, that's how my brain works. So
Standard
'Cause
3?
you guys are
standard
old.
3 to standard 7.
Yeah.
And then
old.
last 3 years.
We're old. We're
Yeah,
old.
we're old. It's okay.
Okay.
And then last 3 years of school were St Albans in Pretoria.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does Drakensburg, does it end at that age?
It ends at that.
Okay.
So it's literally those 5 years. I think it's still the same thing. And it's to do with, like, it's nothing to do with the voices breaking or anything.
Okay, I
Like,
was
you would go
literally
through that.
about to
And so
ask.
you would, the whole choir is boys being soprano, alto, tenor, bass. But it's more to do with, like, academics and time to focus on academics for your last 3 years.
Oh, that
basically.
makes sense.
Yeah. Because we would, like, be going on, international tours in the holidays and doing that kind of stuff.
I remember it was the kind of thing that you could be lucky enough to get at your primary school or your school.
What, a choir?
That the Drakensburg Boys Choir
coming.
would come and
Yeah.
they would sing and it's amazing.
I've seen them. They made me cry. It's so cute. Like every time they like open, it's like angelic. Little boys just singing like little angels. They do. I cried. I went to a concert. I cried.
If you don't cry from a choir, then
That's
then
true.
the
There's
choir
something wrong with
is
you.
doing something wrong, or maybe there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
No, but that's amazing that it did do that because that was the intention. How do you stumble into that?
So
You saw a concert and
yeah,
you said
so
to your
I
mom,
went to see a concert, and then I was sort of having a bit of a hard time. I went to the school St Benedict's in Bedford View,
Yeah.
for like the first years of my schooling, and I was just like having a bit of a hard time. I was a bit of a troubled kid. There was one, I ran away from school once.
Oh, cool.
For I won't get into it, but literally walking down the freeway to the nursery that my mom would go to, and it was just like a whole thing. And then we went to see the choir, and then there was like an open call for auditions. And wherever the choir would go, they would always like have auditions for boys, to audition for the school. And I auditioned, I got in, and we went down to visit the school. And I was just like,
At that point, did you enjoy singing? Did you
did.
you know that you had it in you?
Yeah, so there was a choir at St Benedict's, and I sort of had a solo, and my mom sort of recalls this moment where she had no idea that I had a voice with that kind of voice, and we had a performance, kind of like an inter-choir competition thing at the Johannesburg City Hall.
Yeah.
And I sang the song, and even she was like, "Oh my god, like he can sing!" And then there was just this audition, and I got in, and we went to visit the school and see the school, and I was just completely enamored. Like, it's just you're there.
I would imagine it's beautiful, right?
It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, have you spent any time in the Berg?
Oh, in the Drakensburg almost every year. Yeah.
Like we're about to go. Actually, we just found a deal on the Champagne Sports Resort.
Oh, nice.
Which is like just down the road from Drakes. Now, I like to go as much as I can because I have so many memories attached to being there. And
also the hiking there is
the hiking's
insane.
insane.
Totally.
Yeah,
I grew up
probably. Yeah,
as
beautiful.
a kid. Yeah, as a kid, we used to go to the Cavern.
I don't know what that is.
The Cavenberg Resort is one of those like more staple ones. They kind of own this whole nice, beautiful valley, and it's family owned, and so you kind of get to know everyone. And
Beautiful.
Day one you go down to the trampoline and you just make friends.
Yeah.
Oh, this is sick.
And as a little kid, for 2 weeks, you've just got. You fall in love with someone, you have a bestie, you kind of hardly see your parents, and I think your parents are happy to have you run off and do things.
No, it's the best, man.
Yeah, your mornings are hiking in the mountains.
Amazing.
It's, playing ping
How it
pong.
should be. That's how it should be.
That's special.
And then now, as my dad has found Cathedral Peak
Cathedral Peak's amazing too.
because there's a golf course. So
Well,
for
Champagne
him-
Sports Resort is
Yeah,
great.
I'd imagine
great
it's
too.
good.
They have a great golf course. We just go to that valley. Like I've spent a bit of time in Underberg. I've been to Cathedral Peak a few times, but we just mainly go to that valley because that's
Yeah.
like Mecca in a way, you know. But no, it was a
Okay, so
really
it's happy memories.
very happy memories, very special experience.
And did they teach you anything about maths and science?
Yeah, no, we did normal school as well, believe it or not. But it was just
lots of vocal warm-ups.
Yeah, I mean, we do. We do 2 hours of choir practice every day. So you'd have an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening before dinner, and it was like really like it was very intense discipline. You know,
Okay.
I don't know if you were still being caned back in the day. You know,
No, but that was in my realm.
yeah. So we were, you know, we were at the tail end of caning. So we
Yes,
would, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
still be getting jacks. They called it
Yeah,
getting jacks.
yeah.
And I know it sounds so bad.
One of those good pieces
Yeah.
of evolution. But yeah.
Whenever we told anyone in America that we were getting jacked, they'd be like, "Yo, what?" No, but it's just like a really, you know, very intense discipline with very extreme freedom. You know, like
Okay.
this very intense discipline, musical discipline, like that whole thing. And then you'd be able to just go down to the river and catch snakes and build forts and go on hikes and do all this kind of stuff. So it was
awesome.
this very kind
That
of
is so cool. It's
Yeah.
like Harry Potter.
Special time.
But for
It's
music.
like Harry Potter, but for singing.
Yeah.
Does it still operate?
It still operates, yeah. I
Okay.
think the last few years they've been in a bit of financial trouble from what I remember, but they're still going, and I'm still connected to a few people there.
What is the expectation for once you leave? Do others have a career in singing? Does like anyone in your year still professionally sing?
Yeah,
'Cause
so
I'd imagine you're one of the few who ended up doing it professionally.
so you know the band Isochronos?
Yeah.
So Richard Brokenshaw was I think he went to Jockeys.
Yeah.
I might be like blurring it.
I
He
know
might have
him.
only gone to St
Yeah.
Albans, but I think he went to Jockeys too.
Yeah, they ended up changing it to just ISO because no one
Right.
could wrap their head around the
Yeah.
isochronous.
Isochronous.
Yeah, which is just way too
Yeah.
much. But yeah,
there's,
he's got
there's
an
a lot of
incredible
people.
voice.
Yeah, no, he's a super talented guy. But then, you know, there's a lot of people go into the classical music, like choir world, like Ralph Schmidt, who he's like a big choir master now. And there's a lot of people, not as many people in the kind of pop world. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, so then we finished but what we like to do, we're going to track through some of your lives.
Oh,
'cause
it's long life right now.
I know. And we're gonna flavor it with the films that you've loved across your life.
Oh, cool.
But something I'd love to just know first is you've come and visited our video stores. There's something that the two of you have been watching recently or watched recently that you want to return to our video store. And then the plan, just so you know, is as we talk, I'm going to try and get you something to rent.
Oh,
So
cool.
something to take with you.
Okay.
Anything recently? We got 2 kids.
Yes.
Yeah, we have 2 kids. And
How old?
8 and 5.
Okay.
Yes. And we as a family love Hayao Miyazaki movies.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
This is our jam. That's what we watch with
Like
them.
we were like big into it before we had kids, and then we've kind of brought them into that world
Okay.
as parents.
I'm fascinated to know what that would be like for a kid because we screened The Boy and the Heron
I
when it
love
came
that
out.
movie. Yeah.
And people see animation and so they naturally think it's for kids,
Mm.
which in many ways is. A lot of the Miyazaki stuff is. But a lot of it is really weird and dark.
Yeah.
And there were a few times where like young kids came with parents and I just said, hey guys, have you seen Spirited Away together? Like, do we know Miyazaki? And they're like, yeah, we've watched it all. I'm like, cool.
I know, and it's funny because I think sometimes because it's so out there, it's almost like a dream world to them. I feel like they're not as. I think they're sometimes like they were more scared of.
No Face or whatever that.
No, not the like in Finding Nemo where the like big barracuda comes and eats all the little fish, the clownfish,
Okay.
and the mom basically.
Yeah.
That was terrifying to them. But none of the Miyazaki, and like we've watched them all,
Okay.
Nausicaa, Princess Mononoke, all of that.
They're very into Princess Mononoke.
yeah, they
even
love
though it's
it.
like
That's
crazy.
And
amazing.
they just don't even.
Maybe
that's not even,
maybe there's a sort of an imagination and a childhood child abandonment.
Yeah, and there's some.
What's the word?
and- but for me also.
Imagination. Yeah.
Yeah, but for me, there's also like, there's like a Miyazaki has like a way of like there's beauty in his movies that you can't probably describe in words. It's just like you feel it, you know. And I
Yeah.
think kids aren't dumb; they feel it too.
They feel that.
Yeah. I think they feel that.
Because the point when the little old Mediterranean-looking man slowly makes his way out of the body of the heron through
Yeah.
the mouth.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of freaky.
And he also has that
for
weird
sure.
like "Nyah" voice that's like
Yeah.
very
The heron is freaky and and you don't know what's happening.
Do you know who voiced that?
Who?
The English dub was Robert Pattinson.
What?
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, that's quite something.
Damn,
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, he always has amazing voice actors.
But everyone's
doing
like,
it.
please, can we talk about the range of Robert Pattinson? He
Yeah.
did the voice of the
That's
heron.
pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, I only heard the Japanese version,
Hmm.
but I know that he did that.
It's funny. We watch all of his movies dubbed because to me, there's something about like with that. There's so much attention to detail with the animation. And like live action sort of world movies or non-English movies, we watch with the subtitles. But somehow his movies, because they have such good voice actors and stuff, we we try to watch them.
The
that
English
way.
dubs of those are special. It's one of
Yeah.
the few cases. But are our kids German speaking? How German are they?
They're pretty German, but they prefer English.
Oh, okay.
I know.
So they can do both.
It's just I think I'm failing them in the German compartment. I need
But we
to
also
take them back a
moved.
little
We also
bit.
left Germany.
Yeah, we did.
6 months ago.
Well, also my sisters speak German with their kids, so all the kids kind of spoke English in our realm.
Okay. Because New York was the home base for a long time.
New
and then
York was where they were born, but then we took them to Germany, and now we just got back to New York.
Oh, you've moved back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're back.
Where in New York?
Brooklyn.
Okay,
Yeah, we
cool.
did it. We was like, should we do it? And this is Jean and myself. We just tend to do things very last minute
Okay.
all the time. and
Can
they were
we,
like,
can
plans.
can we
And so-
immigrate last minute? Can we do that?
I was like, should we just do that? And and then we do it.
Well, we were lucky because we always have like an O1 visa happening because even when we were in Germany, we were still playing a lot of shows in the States. So it wasn't like we had to then go apply for the visa. So we had it, and it was more just about making the call to go back. in a way.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a work visa for the States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you rocking? Green Mamba. Have you got?
Still got the green mamba, man. It's
Okay.
still my only thing. And I could have
Jesus.
gotten a German passport, but
I would have thought by now.
We're not talking about this
Okay.
because
She's
that's
so mad
his
with me.
fault. That's just I can only get him so far, and then he has to
Okay.
actually do the rest. You know,
This is
but
lovely.
he just that's it.
Our passport is arguably one of the most
I've been
useless
to
passports.
every embassy there is. You know, because I'm
it's
always
not useless for starting conversations in,
That's
in
true.
immigration lines.
Oh,
Yeah.
we've been to
Met a lot of cool people.
We've been
because of
to
that
where did
passport.
we go? We were in Australia and
Yeah.
had to go to the Mexican embassy in Australia and had to rent a car, drive for 2 hours while we were there. And this is all
From
on
Sydney
tour.
to Canberra.
And who is driving him? Me. You know,
You
I've
had to
sat
go
there
to the Mexican embassy in
Yes.
Australia. Is this so that you guys could play shows
from
in Mexico?
Australia, then go to a festival in Mexico.
Okay.
Yes, this is our lives.
That's lovely.
Yeah, but imagine you didn't get to drive
I
from
know,
Sydney
it's so
to
fun.
Canberra. Like, who
Yeah.
goes to Canberra, you know?
Nobody. We didn't even go to Canberra. We just went to the embassy.
It was, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I hear it's great this time of year. Okay, let's dial back for a sec. We've got Jean over in the mountains in his musical journey with Drakensburg Boys Choir.
Mm-hmm.
What is a film that you can remember hitting you at an early stage that could perhaps be the first film you loved?
Man. Well, funnily enough, one of my earliest film memories was actually a Miyazaki film.
Cool.
But I never knew what it was until we moved to New York, and Patty's sister, who was very into Miyazaki and she's very much into film and stuff. I walked into our apartment one night and she used to live with us, and she was watching this film that I saw as a child.
And you're like, oh my God.
Nausicaa, which is like Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind. But back in the
I
day,
don't know that one, but I know of it.
it's
yeah.
great. It was one of his first films, and he made like a whole 7-volume manga that he sort of shortened and turned into the film.
Okay.
But there was a kind of bastardized edit of that film that was meant to be sort of more child friendly, and that's what I think I saw as a kid.
Okay.
And then she was watching it, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is the film that I remember from my childhood," and that was my gateway into becoming a fan of Miyazaki. So,
Oh, nice.
but I would say probably like The Lion King
Yeah.
was that sort of era of Disney
Cool.
was like very big for me, and yeah, and the funny thing about The Lion King was it really felt like that was the moment that Because I feel like, I'm sure you know this
yeah.
from growing up here. It felt like Hollywood and everything was so far from us. Everything was
Yes.
so far away, you know?
Yeah.
And that almost felt like the first time that our kind of like life and culture in some way
and
was...
what we know to be normal.
yeah, was sort of recognized internationally in some kind of way,
Yeah.
and sort of like we had some sort of moment or
How
something.
old were you when you realized that was Hamlet?
I've never realized that.
Okay,
until
so that
this
just
moment.
happened right now.
That happened right now.
Yeah, the Lion King is Hamlet.
You're
It's
so right.
it's effectively the story of Hamlet. The other great little fact or thing about the Lion King is the musical, the live musical, is the most profitable piece of art in the history of the world.
I heard that.
I've
heard
given
that,
my
yeah.
money to it twice.
Okay, they have it.
Yeah, they have it.
There's a little spot of controversy around it at the moment. A Zimbabwean comedian went on a
Oh, I saw it.
podcast.
There's
And
a
he-
lion.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he kind of bastardized the
Yeah.
opening line to his interpretation. Have you heard this?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
now he's getting
Yeah.
sued.
And then he got slapped with
But
a
is
s-
this-
with a
is
with
this
a
They
happening?
sued, like Disney sued him?
Lebo
No.
M specifically sued him.
But is this happening?
He got served like in a comedy show.
No.
Dude, come
I think this
on.
is part of the act.
Yeah, this
I
is all like getting
wonder-
attention to the
I
thing.
wonder. No, but there was an
it?
interview, or there was a video he posted where he's like, I got the thing slapped on me. I got a call from Lebo M, and I thought this could be a chance to do something with this. Come together, meet me. We'll joke about it. We'll move on. But apparently, Lebo M, kind of got angry with the guy and sort of accused him of, not forwarding kind of black people, or like made some kind of comment like this. And he was like, "Oh, we're not having a conversation. Like you are fighting me." And it's like, okay, this is not going to work.
Sometimes showbiz is just showbiz.
But
You know?
you literally coming from the most.
That sounds stupid to me. Sorry.
But you coming from like
Yeah.
literally the most profitable piece of art.
He's fine.
He's fine.
He's fine. He's
Like-
doing okay.
And
It's the principle.
yeah. Well, he could also
But
just
also-
say.
Yeah.
He could come out and go, well, this is the actual translation, which
There you go.
apparently is a bit more romantic. It's like, apparently it's more like, behold the king
Oh my God.
here. Yeah, oh my God. It's a lion. Who cares? Who cares? But Lion King is special.
Yeah.
That the live action, and I put it in very exaggerated inverted commas, is not a live action. It's everything was animated.
Yeah.
But all that did was, have you realized how good the original was?
Yeah.
I didn't
It's
see
so
the
good.
other
There's so
one,
much
yeah.
heart, so much soul.
And you just got one mediocre Beyonce song, and you realized how ugly a warthog is. Like, that's all that the live action gave
We
you.
didn't
we never
see it.
saw it. Like
We
I
never
just,
saw that.
It's useless.
But for me, I remember sitting in a cinema in Germany, actually.
I was about
And-
to get to you. Yeah.
It wasn't even the movie, it was just the trailer for it. And it was the opening scene where like they hold, little Simba.
Oh, yeah.
It was just that was the advertising for the movie, and the whole movie went and like everyone was like,
lovely.
"What?"
dude, there are a few trailers
We were like,
that,
I
and they don't
remember
make
my
them like that
sisters
anymore.
and I, we were just like, damn, like we were ready.
Yeah.
We were ready.
that
I
ye-
mean, to get someone so excited about something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't do them like that.
Well,
anymore.
that year, they were expecting Pocahontas to be the big hit. The Lion King people in Disney were the B team. They put all their focus and attention on Pocahontas, and sort of kind of left the Lion King people to themselves. And then, I mean, it's just funny. It just
Classic.
shows you.
what happens.
And the first one without any humans in it at the
Yeah,
time.
you're
There,
right.
there hadn't been a Disney movie without humans.
You're right.
And the other point this Zimbabwean comedian makes is he goes, all the characters in the movie had American accents,
Yeah, I know.
except for the monkey.
I
And he's
know.
like, and he goes, fuck the Lion King.
I
Oh my
know.
God, dude. Oh God.
So it's like, let's just mention it. We don't have to soil it as a
Yeah.
concept. It was a lovely movie that
Yes.
holds a big place in our hearts. But like,
Still.
we can review certain parts of it and
Yeah.
and question things.
My thing now is like when you I don't know if it happens here in South Africa, but if you watch like Disney Plus and you watch some old Disney thing and they give the warning before, have you noticed
I
that?
haven't seen that.
At least in America they do that now. They're just like, this film depicts blah blah blah, blah. And I'm just like, guys,
Interesting.
oh my God. I mean, I get it. You know, I
Yeah.
get that people get offended by things, and there are like sort of
Australia has some interesting warnings before things where they're like, we acknowledge
Yeah,
that this
it's like
land
that.
was for, certain indigenous peoples, and if they
Yeah.
touch on that, it's interesting.
Probably warranted.
Patty, growing up, what was a big film for you?
Actually, we just talked about this in the car because I was like, all the movies that I have.
Well, tell
have
people where you
really-
grew up.
Oh, I grew up in Germany, in the south
Sure.
of Germany, called Constance.
Okay.
Very idyllic, very beautiful.
cold in the winter.
Cold in the winter. Actually, not that cold, but just grey. Just grey.
Okay.
So grey.
Colder than here, though.
Oh, yeah, much colder than here. Well, I don't know. I've been the coldest in my life in the South African winter because you guys don't have any heat and your houses are not insulated.
We're not ready for it. And it happens for like 1 or 2 weeks in the year.
And then you guys have electrical blanket to heat your beds, which is really weird because I'm like,
It's not
what
good.
the? Yeah,
It's not healthy.
No, I'm like, what is this? But I was like, I'm so cold. And then there's like this little heater and I'm like sitting around with a cup of tea thinking like I'm shivering.
Yeah, no, and our
So-
winter clothes are useless.
Well,
They
I
do
didn't really
nothing.
have any winter clothes with me
Okay.
because I was like, oh,
But it was odd. I mean, I remember standing in that field looking at the signs that your show was going to be cancelled and going like, it's cold and it's raining. And I was
Yeah.
like, this isn't Joburg summer. But
yeah, I know.
it's kind of becoming it
sorry.
in some ways. We're getting quite a lot more rain. It's,
Yeah, I've heard.
it's quite a thing. Okay, but do we...
But so then I was like, oh, what was there was a movie, and I think it was the first movie I've ever seen in a cinema actually,
Cool.
and it was called Mio Min Mio.
Okay.
I think what's his name? Christian Slater. Is it Christian Slater?
No, Christian Bale.
Bale.
It was
Slater
Empire of the
was
Sun,
around.
wasn't it? Wasn't it the one where he's like a war, like a child in the war, and he's kind of
Yeah, not that one. That's the Empire of the Sun.
right.
But this is Mio Min Mio, and it was like such a bizarre movie, and I just sort of remember snippets, but it was also like it's like this magical story, and the biggest thing that is left with me is this huge head where they then fly in the beard of the head across, I guess, London or somewhere.
It's
And
animated?
like no.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Mio Min Mio. Check
Okay.
it out.
Oh, look into that.
Yeah.
We are about to do a bunch of screenings of a film called The Magic Faraway Tree, which is the Enid Blyton
Oh,
book
cool.
that's been adapted, and it definitely plays very young. So young that this could be people's first movie.
Cool.
And so we spent our first 10 years as the Bioscope in downtown. To speak in a New York sense, it was kind of like a Williamsburg-y, early Williamsburg, where like the factory spaces.
Yeah.
But then it turned a little more party, a little more Fast and the Furious, a little more intense. And so it wasn't the right place for us anymore. But it was never a place to watch like movies for kids.
Got it. Yeah.
And so now in our new spot for the last few years, we're doing lots of kids parties. But
That's
I
cool.
thought, how cool would it be to maybe create this like beautiful little certificate where it's
My
like,
first
this is
movie.
my first movie and it was
That
at the
is very
Bioscope.
Cute.
Because I've just become a dad, guys.
Oh, yay,
Aw, congrats.
congratulations.
2 months in, baby.
Oh,
I
my God.
How do you
So-
feel?
feel good.
Good.
I feel good. Before you guys visited, we got another round of vaccines. So this poor little Bubba doesn't know what's happening and is in lots of pain as this arm gets a prick. But I was like, you're cool. After like 2 minutes, she was like asleep in my arms. And I was
Yeah.
like, whatever diphtheria is,
Yeah.
seems a lot worse
Than that.
than,
Yeah.
than the 10 seconds of crying. So we inoculated her and she's doing all right. She can hold up her
Oh,
head. and
it's so special. You
But-
must just enjoy it.
Thank you. At this point, I mean, that
Just
must
snuggle.
have... Thank you. Well, you do a lot of snuggling. Having the kids must have been an interesting effect on the band.
Yeah. It was
How
like
did you guys choose to do it?
what to make the kids?
No.
Well,
The second one arrived around COVID. hey?
I was fully. I mean, our last show was in Tampa, Florida, and I was pregnant with Charlie, and no one kind of knew.
Yeah.
And then we flew back, and then it was lockdown.
Okay.
/ we kind of, Jean got sick. He was like, I have a headache. So we locked ourselves in before the
Okay.
lockdown because we were pretty sure that he had COVID.
You had something, yeah.
Yeah. And then we locked ourselves in, and then came the lockdown. So we had a pretty intense.
Extra one. Was this in New York?
This was in New York.
Brooklyn, yeah.
Which must have been an crazy place to be.
Yeah.
Dude, it was.
Well,
it
then
was
we left,
like,
and
it
then
was
we
like
left.
The apocalypse.
Yeah,
it was like the apocalypse hit. It was like everything that is good about New York was just removed from it, and now it's just a bunch of people on top of each other who are all scared of each other,
Slowly
and just
losing their minds.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it
was
wasn't
insane.
good. It wasn't good for mental health,
it was
for
horrible.
sure.
But
Anyway,
but you had a chance to raise this kid
yeah.
without doing shows and commitments, right? So
Yeah.
it must have been a.
So it was
That
like,
must have been
I
a
mean, that was a
pass.
tough time for us in general, as for the band, like, because it really set us back. There weren't any shows. We weren't any making. We weren't
sure.
making money. So at one point, our business manager said, because I asked him, I was like, Eugene, do I need to pack up now because I'm a little bit pregnant now. I want to avoid being very pregnant,
Yeah.
And he was like, the rumors are, or the murmurs are like, by Christmas 2020, it should be, should be done. I was like, okay. And he was like, I think we can ride it out. And,
Yeah.
Anyway, he calls me in June. And at this point, I'm a lot more pregnant. He goes, Patty, I'm really sorry, but pack up. And I was like, fuck. So he just,
What does pack up mean?
my life of 14 years in New York.
Okay. Like get to Germany.
Basically, we couldn't afford to be there anymore. So, and then we basically were like, what do we do? And then luckily, I have family in Germany and we have a family house there. So we decided, okay, we're going to go there.
Yeah.
But it was
that
sort
was-
of in the works.
It was
that-
kind of in
that
the,
idea.
yeah, but also it was
Totally.
like, you pack up your life of 14 years in like 2 weeks. That's pretty intense.
Totally.
And then, but it was like, it all worked out. But yeah, that was in general just quite a setback and difficult because but at the same time we were having kids. So it wasn't so bad, It was
Yeah.
like we took a little break.
Well, a
in
lot of
way.
people, I think, when they have whatever their first or their second kid, end up going closer to their family.
No, totally.
And we're definitely on an island out there. Like we have a lot of friends and a lot of connections and stuff, but just no family.
Yeah.
And so.
And then now, let's just say at this point going forward, they travel with you?
Yeah, we homeschool them and they travel with us.
I
We're
mean,
just
that's
going
a-
crazy.
That's a cool life.
But like I said to you earlier, we just make decisions very sporadically and last minute. So
Yeah.
I always say, because actually, and this is also one thing COVID taught me, you never know what you're going to get. And you think you're going to do this and this and that. And then from one day to the next,
Yeah.
your life changes. So ever since then, I've been just like, you know what? I'm just going to be in the now and things are going to happen and we're going to just roll with it. And, I've got 2 arms, 2 legs. I'm healthy.
Sure.
I can somehow get everything done.
And
you
in
know?
these moments when you perform, because obviously both of you have to be on stage,
We recruit.
have you got like part of your road, traveling
Yeah.
contingency? Someone like
No, we have somebody
someone obviously
there.
looks
Yeah.
after them, and where do they hang out? Is it more
So in
backstage, or
the-
do they like to watch?
Well, Indy loves to watch, and Charlie gets a little bit bored.
Yeah,
And he just we performed in the Hamptons in the summer last year, and I saw his little face, and he just looks up at me and he screams at me, going like, "Mommy, I want to go to bed." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I'm like, "Okay, we'll go." So he left to go to bed,
yeah.
and then I was,
Well, it was like at there's this hotel that we perform at every summer in the Hamptons called Soleil East.
yeah.
And so it's like at the hotel and our rooms like just,
Yeah, so just go to the
there.
room.
So
Yeah.
I told him to go, and he did. He's very independent. He's the
Yeah.
little one, but he's very independent.
Lovely. Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, no, we definitely have people. Like it used to be my sister came on the before she was a mom. She came on the road. We had friends coming on the road, and then Paige started working with us, and she's been looking after the boys, and she's part of the team. So yeah,
I feel like
This is
the more we talk about this stuff, the more I'm sort of like, I feel like what we do is people will say, you can't do this, you shouldn't do this, whatever. And we're just like, we're going to fucking do that thing.
I don't know.
Yeah,
We're going to just like, for some reason, we're just like, okay, well, we're going to just do what we feel like and want to do and figure it out, and
I can.
It somehow
I can
works
f-
out.
I
It's
can
not always easy.
yeah, I can feel that spirit, and I
Yeah.
applaud it. And I think just because I've got a glimmer into that life through Short Straw, I can get a sense of how that life works,
Mm-hmm.
and how like there's no way you can route it to any kind of
Well, we've had the kids one time get on stage with the opener without us knowing, or without anyone knowing. That was like our last tour in Atlanta. And they somehow got into the opener's dressing room, and the dressing room went directly onto stage.
Okay.
But we had like a TV that could show you what the stage looked like.
Yeah, yeah.
And suddenly I just heard like, oh shit. And like literally the kids were like running around during the opener, and like Charlie hiding under the drums and all this stuff. And then you had like Paige and Austin, everyone running.
Like scurrying after
it
them.
was. So that's happened.
This was like a 6-week bus tour around the US with the kids. It was just like, oh my God.
But they were small, and that was a little difficult.
Yeah.
But they're older now, so they,
That's exciting.
it's better.
And they're going to have such incredible stories and adventures.
They might hate me, and they might hate us and go like, why did you do that? We want to just go to school, like I might be messing up my kids, but
No, but listen, you got to be you, and you give them love and attention.
No,
and
that's true.
Then they'll be fine.
they are loved.
Okay, when did you two meet?
We met a long time ago in Liverpool at the university that we went to.
Is this our 24th year together now, or our 23rd
In September, it'll be 24 years.
year?
Yeah.
Okay, some stuff, Jean, you'd started as St Lucia on your own, hey?
Well, yeah, we sort of, I mean, I had like a couple previous projects.
Well, it wasn't St Lucia.
There was a thing called Kites.
Kites. Yeah.
Yes.
There were just like a few, living in Liverpool. I had a band there, and then everything kind of always like morphed into the next thing. There were bits of the old band that kind of became the new thing, and then we moved to New York to work at like a music house, like a jingle house, essentially.
Oh, interesting.
That's a whole other long story, but that's basically the reason we went over there. And
Well, he was working on his stuff, and he always asked me to sing on his stuff.
Yeah.
And then at one point he asked me, babes, can you be in the band? I was like, no, it's bad for a relationship. I think we
Okay,
should
so
just
we were smooching first.
Yeah, we were always.
Okay.
We were always. This is already. We're deep into
You're
this
in it.
relationship.
Okay.
We know that this is the big love.
Okay.
And then, but then he kept on asking. But I was like, I think everybody always says it's like bad for relationships if you do too many. Depends. And so I said, I don't think we should do that because people say it's bad. And then he was like, yeah, but you're all over it and la-di-la-di-la. And then I said, yeah, but if I join the band, we're going to get signed and all these things are going to happen,
Like we're going to become famous and then it's
and
going to get
just
weird.
and then I said, okay, fuck it, let's just
There's
go
kind
and
of
do
no
it.
other choice because it's like if it has to happen,
And
it
then
has
guess
to
what
happen, right?
happened? We got signed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. And I've long since spoken about my relationship with Short Straw as like, some form of friendship disappears because you've got to make room for the work that you have to do together.
Yeah.
So you become colleagues in a certain sense. But that never encapsulates it because there is almost like this kind of sibling love where it's like there is a deeper, more connected root. So you're somewhere between a sibling and a colleague.
Yeah.
And so like deep love, but you work together. And so if you can get that right, it's perfect.
It's true.
Yeah, it's definitely a crazy, all-encompassing kind of thing. And we have some of our closest friends have this band Hearts, Nini and Benny, and they do the same thing as us, basically. And I think when it works, it can work. But then we've also seen it just end really badly.
No, and it just comes down to
lucky.
you guys. It
Yeah.
just comes down to
Totally.
how you were raised and how hard you're willing to work and
Well, I think the thing is, I think we're very clear about, in a way, our roles, in
Yeah.
the band and what we do. And maybe just, or like, and our goals / our relationship goals, So I think, and that probably comes with time. But I think, that kind of rubbed off on the band as well.
Yeah.
And how we approach it and what we want for this project and who we want to work with and how we want to work with people,
Yeah.
etc. So, but yeah, very family oriented,
lovely.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so when we now moved to New York, we're together and we're starting St Lucia, right? How old are we?
24?
It was like 2006. So, 23, 24.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we call that the like it's
23,
getting
yeah.
serious film, which
Yeah.
is the film you watch in your early 20s where you are a little more interested in looking at other things, getting a little bit darker, a little bit weirder, or a little experimental. Can you think of a movie that came to you around that time that you guys perhaps watched together in New York? Or
I wrote some stuff down here.
perhaps we can go by that and put it to dates.
See, I think I think this. Well, I keep on bringing up Miyazaki. I don't want to just do that, but I
Sure.
think that has been such a huge. He's been such a huge director in our lives because I remember even with José going to see Ponyo at one point, you know, and then that was maybe the first Miyazaki movie where I was like, okay, that's very much like a kids movie,
Yeah.
you know. And then I rewatched it with my kids, and I was like, damn, he's so good. You know,
with the giant,
everything changed.
the waves being the giant fish.
No,
It's
but
so-
then also just
so imaginative.
the perspective. He just got the perspective of a 5-year-old, you know. And I was like, when I was 24, I didn't have that. But I'm a mom now, and then I'm like, I have a 5-year-old. And I was like, damn, he's good. You know, now I'm
That's
like,
lovely.
I love this movie so much. But at the time, I was like, yeah, that's like a little bit like
It's
kiddie.
maybe for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think around that time, like if I think back to that time, I feel like I was really getting into like Almodovar.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Spanish
you're right.
director. Like that was
That's
I was
true.
really getting into Almodovar.
Or like Eat to Mama Tambien and
Yeah.
and that one with the Torres.
Oh,
Which one was that? Habla con ella or something. Habla con
What?
ella. Talk to her?
Yeah.
Talk to her?
That was also Almodovar, I think.
because New York is special when it comes to movies.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
Once I had started the bioscope, I did a trip there, and I basically went to a different site of cinema every day for like a month.
Yeah,
That's
there's
cool.
so many good like
I went
theaters.
to
Angelica,
different-
Angelica, yeah.
like
It was the start of like the Nighthawk in
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's
Brooklyn that
cool.
had just opened.
Yeah.
So that gave me lovely
not there
inspiration.
anymore.
Is it?
the one in Williamsburg is there.
It's not.
It is-
Where?
Nighthawk?
Nighthawk?
I was just in
Oh, yeah,
Williamsburg and
you're
it's
right.
there. And but there
Nighthawk
is
is-
another Nighthawk at the bottom of Prospect Park. There's
Okay.
like a second location.
But cinema is alive and well in a city like New York.
Yeah.
No,
because
no,
it's,
it is.
it's the kind of, you go and watch some strange documentary at Film Forum at like a weekday afternoon and it's
Yeah.
packed.
It's true. It's true.
You can do that in New York. You can
Yeah.
get away with it, and there's some beautiful museums and lovely things, and
It's, dude, the art and culture there.
so
is
that
pretty,
was
pretty
was
amazing.
special. So I'd imagine there was a little bit of that, right? Exploring New York for
Oh,
sure.
100%. Yeah. And I think, when Felicia was there as well in the beginning, like we were definitely going and seeing a lot of films.
Felicia's my sister.
Okay,
Yeah. She also did our documentary. So she's really into film and she's
Yeah.
a editor and director. So, yeah.
It's funny though, because like I was sort of preparing for this in some kind of way, which I
Yeah.
never really prepare for interview for
I appreciate
podcasts or
it.
whatever.
Thank you.
But whenever someone's like name some films that you love or your
Yeah,
favorite
yeah.
albums, I sort of have to because I always draw a blank in the moment. But something I sort of realized about the films that I'm sort of most drawn to, and then kind of the music that I'm most drawn to, I realized there's kind of a parallel there where.
Cool.
There's some like most of my really favorite albums are albums that a lot of people would recognize. They're not, a lot of them are not like very super underground records because there's something I really appreciate about the kind of balance between
commercial and
commercial and art. But in a sense, it's kind of like, it's not even the balance between commercial and art, but it's like if I think of like Prince, or I think about U2, or I think about like Peter Gabriel or Kate
David
Bush or
Bowie.
whatever, or David Bowie, or those records that somehow were very high art, but at the same time somehow managed to talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of my favorite films are it's sort
The
of
same.
similar in that way. If I think
which
of
is great.
Tarantino, if I think about Wes Anderson, even though I don't think Wes Anderson's ever had like a massive hit film.
no, they've surprisingly never been
Really?
commercial successes. They are cult
Yeah.
favorites,
And
people-
everyone wants to act in his films.
Yeah,
And,
but
like,
there's a reason why he doesn't pay everyone a lot of money, because they don't necessarily commercially make that much money.
Yeah.
But they are so loved.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
love
very
Wes
interesting
Anderson
thing.
Yeah.
But you'd appreciate this. I always loved Life Aquatic. That was one
Yeah.
of my favorite
Dude,
movies of all time.
I literally, that's on my list. over
Okay,
there.
cool. I
Yeah.
want to actually go through your list because I
Yeah.
appreciate you taking the time.
Of course.
But you'd appreciate this. I've got this. My wife is a lovable, like, normie of a person when it comes to like movies and stuff. She's the kind of person that like can maybe only remember halfway through the movie if she's watched it or not,
Yeah.
which is great because she is happy to continue because she doesn't remember it, but she
Yeah.
kind of does remember that she's watched it. And she's grown up in a world of sort of finance and all sorts. And so I was like, yeah, Life Aquatic's great. And it's not that odd. You know, it's not too arty and weird. Until I played it for her and she's like, it's a bit odd. And I'm like,
Yeah, you're right.
I'm
You're
like,
right.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
But in
It's
my
true.
head, it was like totally
Yes.
normal.
I
and
know.
Arguably the more accessible Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
It gets weird from here.
Yeah.
Totally.
But
Well,
that's
what was actually, I just like had this memory come back to me that like my dad used to often take us to the Cinema Nouveau in Rosebank.
Yes.
And those
To go
the,
see films
the triplets of
with the Triplets of Belleville. He took us
Belleville.
to see.
That was
there were like
cool.
a few like
Okay.
weird films that he took us to see
That's a
growing up.
delightfully weird movie.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Another amazing
bike.
animated film that is just
Beautifully
That was
animated,
brilliant.
interesting French film, largely silent, about like the Tour de France.
yeah.
Yeah, and just this little whistle just sticking with me, and like,
But
just-
that's
The
like
squeak.
it's
very
like that's like me with the band. You know, like
no, that's a lovely movie. The Triplets of Belleville
Yeah.
definitely deserves some kind of a re-screening. or
for
a
sure.
rewatch.
That's very cool.
Okay. What else is on that list? I'm so curious now.
I mean, the Dune films.
Okay.
I think Denis Villeneuve did a great job. But then also
Jodorowsky.
that led me to Jodorowsky.
Yeah, I knew it. See, I didn't
Um,
even. I don't know his list.
Because
have you seen the documentary about it?
so
Yeah,
good, dude.
yeah.
Oh my god.
That. Yeah.
The,
yeah.
the greatest film that never was.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Amazing.
Hey? It was
But
going to
like-
be.
But so good that
Mick
like it was
Jagger and-
influencing so many other movies that then came after. Which
Next week, someone's gonna AI that whole movie.
Yes.
Someone's like about to make an AI version of that.
Yes, that's a good point.
boo.
That could-
But yeah, Miyazaki, Wes Anderson, like Tarantino. I think Denis Villeneuve is like his sci-fi is
yeah,
incredible.
but even his like smaller indie stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen Prisoners?
no, I haven't.
Okay, it's very interesting with Hugh Jackman
Is this a recent
and Jake
thing?
Gyllenhaal. It's quite a while ago.
Oh, okay.
Really dark, quite intense. It's like his daughter, Hugh Jackman's daughters go missing,
Oh,
and he believes the kid down the road, Paul Dano, who's
Who
on
Quentin
the
Tarantino doesn't like.
yeah, wild. I mean, watch this movie and you could be like, how do you not think he's an amazing actor?
Yeah.
But he's on the spectrum and in some way, but haunted or sort of tormented, and he eventually like holds him captive,
oh shit.
like torturing him to try and find out where his daughters are. It's dark.
And then
And I think Jake Gyllenhaal's the policeman who's trying to investigate. And,
Oh damn.
but it's quite something.
Wow.
I know there's some crazy the like psychological sort of like movies like that. I watched The Room. That was really like weird. The Room, not The Room, the other room.
The one that's just Room or The Room?
Oh, I don't know.
The one
With the kid.
okay, that's Room.
Okay, Room. Oh,
Yeah, I've never seen it.
yeah, I don't-
We stuck the book in our gift shop.
yeah, it was pretty
Okay.
intense. That was pretty intense.
Okay, what are we doing for the rest of our trip? We're going to the Drakensburg.
Yes.
we just took the band on to the bush. To
Nice. Where did we go?
Pilansburg.
Okay.
We just like, you can rent like a whole compound in Black Rhino, and we did that whole thing.
Nice.
And
That was really
Took
nice.
the band and they loved it, and then we were just like, what do we do for the next couple of weeks? We were like, should we go to Cape Town? What should we do? And then my dad found he's on this like WhatsApp group where like people who can't take their timeshares.
Oh,
They
interesting.
kind of put it up for like a good price. I don't know if I'm meant to talk about this.
Don't
but
talk about this. Otherwise, all the good prices will be.
Black market time.
Yeah.
No, but you're not going to share the WhatsApp group, but he's in it. So
He's
that's
in
cool.
it. So we're doing the Berg, and then just seeing some friends.
Lovely.
We're going
Hanging
to
with
Jesse
family.
Clegg's house for a braai tomorrow night.
Okay.
He's a good friend of ours, and yeah, maybe some like studio sessions. I don't know. We'll see.
Good. And then for this year? What does 2026 hold for you guys?
We continue our tour. We've actually got quite a lot happening.
This is for the new releases.
This
hey?
is for the new releases for our Fata Morgana tour.
It was very cool. So to be perfectly honest, I missed that this new album was out, and so
I think a lot of people did.
No, but when I was preparing for this interview, I was like, oh my god, it's like 2 new little chocolates are left in the packet. Like,
Yes.
oh my god, there's St
more.
Lucia that I didn't know.
Yeah.
But very cool that you've kind of themed them.
Yeah.
Is the music different across the two?
Yes, it is.
Okay, what is dusk? What is dawn?
I would say dusk. Well, dawn is a little bit more of a sort of bandy,
Bit more psychedelic. Bit more like 70s, 60s.
and then dusk is a little bit more poppy and danceable, I think.
Okay, that's exciting.
That's how I sort of see it.
Okay,
It's like a really, it took a long time to make, and it was really
because they're not little EPs. Like
No, it's a double album.
And,
Both
we,
it's a double album,
and we
yeah.
have a whole documentary out about it too.
which we could have screened.
You could have, I know. You can still screen
We
it, or
could
you can
still
watch
screen
it
it.
in the movie theater
Yeah.
that you've got.
It's on
yeah,
YouTube.
that's what I mean. Okay,
It's
we've
out.
released it.
Yeah, we've released
Okay,
it.
cool. Okay, we'll put a link to that
Yeah,
if it's out
cool.
on
Yeah.
YouTube already. That's
No, and
cool.
like a lot of it was filmed in South Africa. We came here
cool.
to film the whole beauty of this country
okay,
and have it as our backdrop, basically.
for like what, a bit of a visual album.
Yeah, we basically did a visual for every song,
Okay.
and then with the sort of idea that we're gonna turn it into a little bit of a documentary or
Cool.
whatever, just to have material as well.
Yeah, no, the rise of the visual album has been very cool and exciting.
Yeah. And we did it with a friend of ours who's also South African, Xander Ferreira. He was
Okay.
in
I know that name.
the band
Gazelle?
Gazelle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's Xander.
Gazelle.
So he's
Great,
a good friend.
great concept artist.
Yeah,
No,
he's
dude,
great.
Z-
I mean,
this was literally Xander's idea.
Yeah.
Like we played him some of the tracks that we were working on, and he was like, "Oh, this is so cool. We have to do something."
yeah, he
and,
just was like, I
and he kept
envision.
pushing us. We were like, "We can't do it. It's too expensive." He's like, "No, we gotta do it." And then we just like, the original concept, we costed it out. It was going to be like $500,000, and it was like, "Yeah, that's not going to happen." And then we just kept dropping like the amount of money, and then we ended up just kind of going on like a road trip in the Cape,
Perfect.
essentially.
Yeah, if you've
And-
got the nature there for you, you
Yeah.
just got to get to it.
Yeah.
No, and he has amazing, just his ideas in terms of like what you can do with a beautiful landscape and just a couple like very stark things, and then us wearing the same outfit the whole time.
Cool.
No,
And everything was made. All the outfits were made in Cape Town, and hats, everything. Actually, the whole shebang was quite South African.
I think there's a documentary, at least a short film, about what Xander Ferreira pulled off with Gazelle, specifically with cheap ideas and costumes.
There you go.
I don't know whether you know some of those stories.
No.
He dressed up in that
Oh, yeah, I do know that.
regalia,
Yeah.
which was like almost like something that Sacha Baron Cohen would do
Yeah, no, for sure.
much later with The Dictator. But he dressed up in that kind of safari suit
I know.
stuff, those glasses,
Yeah.
went into like big fancy media parties across the world. I think it was in New York. With everyone going like, "The fuck's that guy?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he created such a lovely
Yeah.
buzz around himself.
No, it's great.
They were cool songs. I liked Gazelle. I thought
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
cool. It was a nice time.
No, he's a creative force for sure, and
Okay.
he's
So where's he now?
In New York.
We actually met him in New York. Like we didn't know
Okay.
him before, and we just ended up hanging out. And this dude has some crazy stories, man.
Interesting. But this is the year that you're gonna tour this album,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's
we
how
continue.
we're gonna all know about it. What's coming up, or what is the?
Well, we
what
just-
are you excited? Where are you excited to go?
Well, we just finished like a little tour of the East Coast of America.
Okay.
And then we came here, and it was we're breaking it up a little bit because also Dustin has just become a dad, a drummer.
Okay.
So we're just usually we go on tour and it's like, we go. But I think the older we're getting, and the people have different things and different jobs and dads or whatever, so we're kind of approaching it in a new way,
Sure.
And so we've broken out. We're here, and then we go back, and then we have a couple of things in Miami,
Cool.
and then we continue our tour on the west coast of America.
Nice.
and then
Some
we
stuff in Europe.
head to France and to England, and then
Well, we haven't. There's stuff that hasn't been announced yet.
No, sure. No, we don't have to get into specifics.
No,
but
it's fine. It's fine because whatever.
But yeah,
but
we're around.
And then there's some more shows.
hopefully. Well, we're working on some Midwest shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Where has been a surprisingly awesome place to play? Like, what's a city that you, if it's coming up, you're like, I like this one.
I mean, Chicago is always great.
Chicago's always.
Austin is great. Actually,
Denver is
Denver's
always
always
great.
awesome.
But like for us, like New York is
That's the home-
place. That's the home.
It's the
yeah.
home ground.
Yeah, and that's always a good one. Yeah.
Okay. What's a nice venue for you in New York?
We've been playing Brooklyn Steel for the last few
Okay.
years, actually.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
been everyone's really nice. The sound is really good.
There are just certain venues in the States where they kind of they get
like
the balance of
9:30 at-
sound, the for the size of the venue, the sound system's really good. Like LCD Sound System does a residency there in December.
Okay.
Like they play like
11
20 shows or
yeah.
something.
Lovely.
You know. And 9:30 Club in Washington D.C. is really great as well. It's like way oversized sound system for the size
cool.
of the venue. Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, like, but New York always feels really good. Even though I feel like a lot of people from back in the day that were there
Aren't there anymore?
at the start of things have left. But it's still like a very, very like a great city for us.
Cool.
For whatever reason.
And how does Brooklyn feel now since you left it? I mean, can you feel a difference in 6 years?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because New York is one of these cities. I mean, like everywhere else, you go through waves. I think the big part was COVID, and I was like, how is it gonna recover, and what is it gonna be? You know.
Yeah.
So for a little while, it felt really weird, but now it's feeling very exciting, and I
cool.
think there's a lot of people moving back again.
Yeah.
So
They're just-
interestingly enough.
It's weird how sometimes you can feel a certain thing in the water. And so,
Yeah.
like, I can share that, at the start of 2026, I felt more than ever we needed to have these, like, very carefully curated, very well thought out, very meaningful monthly events, with no matter what it is. One of them is jazz at the Bioscope. One of them is, like, very thoughtful, interesting cinema that you might not know about. So these kind of smaller, independent. A lot of them have been black and white, weirdly enough. Not because just because they're arty.
Yeah.
But it's felt like after years of too much social media and now AI just being this kind of little nail in the coffin,
You are right. Yeah.
we're all going like, fuck, if we can get into a room and make this like meaningful, beautiful art that we can all share together, whether it's pre-recorded or created in front of an audience, like, fuck, this is precious.
Yeah. No, and it is, and I'm.
So many people are feeling the same
But
thing. It's crazy.
what gives me hope as well, and it's like, I mean, we work with Paige, and she's a lot younger than us, and she's like the generation where you'd go like, okay, where is this going, you know?
Yeah.
And she is so super cool, and her friends are so super cool,
Yeah.
and they grew up in a world where they know only screens, and
Yeah. And they're all drinking less.
they're all drinking less. They go to party in the gym. They go like at night and hang out and work out together. It's very weird. Anyway, but there's
hope.
There's hope. But they're all feeling the pull towards, going sort of back to, the roots, working with your hands or doing whatever it is. They just want like the original thing right now, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
So there is hope. Yeah.
So speaking of hope and optimism, you pointed out Project Hail Mary and how you really want to watch that.
Yeah.
That's something I'd love to rent you guys. And I think its success right now is because of many things. One of which is that the movie is ultimately optimistic and hopeful in the space of literally the whole universe dying. We've got Ryan Gosling and, not to give too much away, somebody else.
I've read the book.
Okay,
so,
you've read the
yeah,
book. All right.
I've read the book, yeah.
I saw the trailer.
Okay, him and Rocky.
Rocky.
Yeah, him and Rocky.
Him and Rocky will save the universe.
Yeah,
and that's also why it's doing well, because
People want that.
we've made a lot of like dark stuff recently.
Dude, I have been saying literally,
Yeah,
I don't want to
this-
be the
yeah.
guy that's
But
like,
you have
I've
been
been
for
saying this, but I
years,
have
yeah.
been saying for years, I really think a big part of why the world is where it is because our entertainment has been so dark for so long.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because Ryan literally said this in an interview, and he said
Yeah.
this is a big part of what inspired him to do Project Hail Mary because he's a dad now.
Yeah.
And he was like, what kind of positive things can I show my kids? Like, what is the new, you know,
Yeah.
it's like, look, I love a lot of those series and movies and
But
everything.
we've had enough of it now.
It's just, but it's been so
especially-
overwhelming.
And especially when you've got so much media and so many politicians just
Yeah.
being nasty and
Yeah.
like being mean, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh come on, let's have some nice speeches.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the pendulum is swinging, you know.
And
yeah.
the music you guys make, honestly, I've genuinely been a big fan of, and it's brought happiness in my life. I enjoy the happiness of it. I
Oh, it's
enjoy
nice
that
for you to say, man.
kind of like nice big. It's how do you describe it? Because I was trying to describe this to my family. I was like,
Epic.
it's like
Yeah,
a
it's quite
big
Pretty epic.
power poppy. It's pop, but in the like best sense of the term.
Thanks, man.
Where it is still bandy
Yeah.
without it being, this kind of generic cookie cutter pop. It's like it's a bandy pop. It's like I think of a Phil Collins with nice big drums and big sounds. It's been
Thanks, man.
it's been such a pleasure enjoying the music.
Thank you.
The chances that I got to watch, unfortunately, I missed it last
Oh, no,
weekend
I'm
or
so
2
sorry.
weekends
So bummed
ago.
about it. Oh.
I'm so bummed.
Because by that Sunday afternoon, it was like, baby, let's get home.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
And I
sure.
was like,
Yeah.
I can't.
No, I know.
now not.
We'll do it again.
We'll just have to
We'll
come
do
out,
it
or
again.
you have to come to New York.
Yes.
That'll be good too.
Which would be marvelous.
Yes.
Lovely, guys. I appreciate your time. Thank you
Thanks
for
for having
coming.
us.
Enjoy the rest of this break, and enjoy the year.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll see you guys down the road.
Yes, we will. Thank you.
Lovely.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it, man.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye. All right. Lekker chat, lekker people, and lekker 2 new albums. You don't have just one, but 2. Fata Morgana, both Dusk and Dawn, are out now for you to enjoy. And you've just got an incredible back catalogue of other incredible albums and just happy, good music, as I said. So thank you for visiting us. Thanks for the visit, and especially for all those new. We hope to see you again next week. All right, lekker. Cheers. Bye-bye.